everyone. I now call this regularly scheduled council meeting to order this March 18th, 2024. Join me in a word of prayer, please. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here this evening to conduct the important business of our community, we pause to seek your guidance and inspiration. Give us the insight to reflect on the responsibility entrusted to us and the impact our decisions have on the lives of those we serve. In this diverse and vibrant community of Blackstone, we acknowledge the richness that comes from our differences. May our decisions be grounded in fairness, justice, a deep understanding of the needs of all of our residents, and that all we do will be pleasing to you, Father God. We ask for your wisdom and discernment as we navigate the challenges and opportunities before us. Please give us the strength to have discussions to be marked by collaboration, respect, and a shared commitment to the well-being of our community. As we deliberate and make decisions, please guide us by the principles of equality and inclusivity. Let us work together to create a town that is welcoming, supportive, and just for every resident. In this moment of reflection, we also express gratitude for the privilege to serve our community. May our efforts be guided by a sense of duty and a genuine desire to make Blackstone a better place for all. We offer this prayer with open hearts, seeking unity, understanding, and the strength to make wise decisions for the greater good. We ask for these things in the precious name of Jesus, our Lord and Savior. Amen. Amen. I ask everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't have any public hearings scheduled for tonight, so I'm going to move right on. Next item on the agenda is minutes. Members of council, you have before you a set of minutes from our October 26th meeting. What is council's pleasure?
To approve and dispense with reading the minutes from February 26th.
Mr. Nash is properly moved. May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Wynn seconds. Is there any discussion or questions about these minutes? Hearing none, I'll ask for a voice vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries 6-0. There are two opportunities for citizens to address council. Now is the first time, and at the second time will be at the conclusion of council's business. We have two signed up, and now I have an additional, I know of three that have signed up to speak, and the first one is Mr. Jay Higginbaum with English Construction. If you don't mind coming to the podium, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you all. Again, my name's Jay Higginbotham. I work for WC English Incorporated. It's a family-owned business. I've been working with English for 40 years, and English is replacing the bridge on Route 46 over the dam, which is the reservoir for Nottoway for Blackstone. And the reason I'm here, VDOT has asked me, or asked English, to get permission. We asked VDOT, can we put a crane on a barge? VDOT said, ask the town of Blackstone and see if they will get you permission. If they will, then we'll consider your request. So that's why I'm here. And let's see if this. So what I'm showing you here is I guess the point I'm trying to make is English does quality work. This is a Riverwalk project. We just finished up at the about a year and a half ago. It's in Hickory, North Carolina. It's on Lake Hickory. It is their reservoir, and this bridge we built, we actually put the concrete columns down in the water, whereas on the current bridge, we're just slicing the piers off and building. We're slicing the piers off about 6 inches above the water and going up. So we're not going down in the water on your reservoir. We're just coming up. But I wanted to show you this picture just because it is quality work. This is a night view of it. It is really fantastic. economic development. If you have some water facility and you want to put a walkway around it, this is a phenomenal thing. But English built it. The next point I want to make, and I'm trying to be quick so I don't take up too much of your time, is this is a picture of the Shugart barge that we currently have. Barge that they put together kind of like Legos, but the red pins hold them together, so they're pinned together, and that makes a platform. And we've actually got the Shugart barge out in the reservoir now. We're allowed to do that by VDOT. We just can't put a crane on it. Believe it or not, that's where we are. So this is that same Hickory project. That's that crane on the Shugart barge. You can also see an excavator working up on the slope there off the barge because you couldn't access it from the except from the barge. This is another shot. This is what we're asking. Would council allow English to put a crane on the barge on the reservoir? And this is where we've actually done it maybe 18 months ago. I put a real fundamental agreement in your packets, and it's basically three things that we're saying. We're going to provide spill protection, which is a membrane to catch any drips of oil under the crane, and then the crane actually uses what's called green or biodegradable hydraulic fluid, and it's really cooking oil. And I know all the ladies in here, and maybe a few of the men, but I'm probably guilty of it as anybody. If you took some water and poured some cooking oil in it, the oil's going to come to the top. And so if for some reason we did spill some hydraulic oil, which is cooking oil, in the water, it's going to float to the top, and your intake is about, I'm going to guess, 10 feet below the water. So that oil is, even though it's biodegradable, it's still not going to get in your plant because it's just going to, we're right there at the spillway, it's going to just go downstream. So that's the first point. The second is in this proposed agreement, we will repair any damage. Right now, you do not have a contract with English. English has a contract with VDOT, and if we damage something of yours out there, you'd have to go to VDOT to come to us. This would give you another avenue to come straight to English if we happen to damage anything. And I'm actually on Alta Vista's town council. I've been on it 24 years, and I said, if I were in your position, what else would I want? And so I said, well, we'll get a pollution policy and name the town of Blackstone as an additional insured for $1 million. And I didn't think of anything else I could do but that's the essence of this agreement that that we would ask that you agree to. Now, believe it or not, the Hickory, North Carolina's 2023 annual water quality report took a picture of our bridge, which is right next to their plant, and that's their water intake, and included our bridge on their water. So we are a quality company. We do quality work, and that's the point I'm trying to make here. Now, I realize that's North Carolina, but the Office of Drinking Water for the Virginia Department of Health, the area that you see right here in blue, is covered by the Danville Regional Office. This is Nottoway right over in here. This is where I live in Campbell County and Alta Vista, and Patrick County or Stewart is out there. And so I want to know if you have any questions of me. And then I said, well, Ray Whalen with the Office of Drinking Water, he's here. We've communicated a lot, and I think he supports, has no problems with what we're doing. And Sherry Knight, who's the district engineer, and Ray used to be the district engineer. He moved up, and now Sherry's the district engineer. They're both from the Virginia Department of Health, off of the drinking water. And so that's our presentation. And just to summarize it, because I'm trying to be quick, is I would like a motion from council that we be allowed to put a crane on the barge, provided we use green hydraulic fluid in the crane, that we provide a pollution policy for $1 million for the town of Blackstone, and that we agree to repair any damage. I can't get any simpler than that. But I'm willing to take any questions members of council have, and Ray and Sherry are available too.
Members of council, you have any questions?
So the proposal that you're sharing with us at this moment is going to be similar to the one that they have in Hickory with the walking bridge and all?
No, ma'am. The
Okay.
one we're building here is a traffic, a street. The one in Hickory was it was probably about 10, 12 feet wide, but that was a pedestrian bridge that connected to a trail, and it's a little different design, but this job is, we don't have to get down in the water on your job because we slice off the existing piers 6 inches above the water, and then we put steel columns and go up with the caps and the steel girders to build a road on top of the bridge on top of that.
You're just redoing the
Redoing
bridge.
yes, ma'am, from the water, exactly, from the water up.
I kinda thought that was, the reference was, it's not your first rodeo.
That's,
know, that you've
yes,
done
yes,
You've done this before,
Yes,
is what I
sir.
got from that.
Yes, sir.
Does that help you, Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Yes.
yes, sir.
And if I understand, you'll have, protection in place that will hold the amount of fluid that's in the crane, oil,
Yes, sir.
even the cooking, the hydraulic fluid, the
Yes,
green cooking.
yes, sir.
back,
We will have a tray, a membrane underneath it with edges that,
Big enough to
yes, sir.
hold whatever fluid that may leak out if there was a leak.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're inclined to reverse your decision on this, if I can, you guys are
Absolutely.
hiring an attorney tonight. And the agreement was written, I had asked initially for a performance bond to be included and not been included clearly. I'd like an attorney to review that agreement because, what I handed you out tonight from VDOT, was the portion of the contract and the bidding documents, that clearly stated there would be no crane on there. I've spoken extensively with VDOT, and indeed, I think the way it was represented is accurate. VDOT is not asking for this. This is something that WC English is asking, and VDOT is not inclined to consider it unless the town of Blacksburg says it's okay. We had exhaustive meetings in the planning process of this, and the no crane on the barge was intentional. It was intended to protect your water intake. It is the water intake. Mr. Wyland may be sympathetic of those things, but the liability for that and insurance policies are covered. But because it's the water intake, I think you need to be very cautious about this decision. Very cautious. And you can give you all the assurances, and Mr. Higginbotham has been thorough. But I'd like an attorney to review this thing, and if you're inclined to do this, but my recommendation stands. I think that it's all risk and no reward for the town of Blacksburg. And the job was bid with the documents that you see in front of you. And the gentleman at VDOT has indicated that they're not even certain that they would approve it based on environmental. But I do think it opens the door for VDOT, as we discussed the last time. It's really a VDOT decision. It's not a town decision of whether this would be approved or not. But if you're inclined to do so, I think it needs a more durable legal review on an agreement that was prepared by you.
All right, members of council, you've heard the opinion and the recommendation of the mayor. We'll start with members of council. You have any questions for town manager about his opinion?
Not with the town manager, but I do just have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
How would the barge and having the crane on it benefit Blackstone?
Well, it's gonna get the job done quicker, and we can get the traveling public back on the bridge quicker. It's gonna allow us to get access.
From the reservoir side,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
deep side?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
that's what I was trying to get to before he came
Yes,
in,
ma'am.
but I
And-
wanted to know what we were gonna benefit as a town.
Yes, ma'am. And this job was bid in 2019, and we've had like 2 years of delay with the steel. I can go into all kind of problems, but we know what we're doing, and we're able to do it. But I need to clear this hurdle, and if I have no problem, having the town attorney subject to his concurrence.
I don't ever want to speak for the council, but I think we understand your position.
Yes, sir.
And I think we should be sympathetic, but in end of the day, we've got 3,500 bosses that we're worried about, and that's what we have to take in consideration. Mr. Harmon, did you have a comment?
I did. How is the barge painted?
The barge has 2 spuds that go down, they're like 20 foot long, and they go about 14 feet down into the bottom.
And how do you, when you place those
And
spuds,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
when you place those spuds, how do you
The crane-
miss or water intake would be the better question.
Well, the water intake is to the far, this side of the water intake structure is to the far north side. So we've got the whole other, I mean, it is almost right at the bank. So we've got the rest of the bridge. You know, that's so close to the bank, we wouldn't even need the barge over there.
I think the intake's right up underneath the structure.
That's right, on that little kind of brick structure, yes, sir.
It is.
And, I had a follow-up, but I lost it. I'll come back.
So your work is downstream of the intake?
It's really,
Parallel to the
it's kind of parallel, but the dam is taking all the water over before it can get to the end. The intake is kind of against the shore and would bring it in almost in a triangular, and we're working right up on the dam.
Mr. Van Overbeek, do you have rebuttal to that?
No, I don't think there's any rebuttal
Okay,
to
all right.
it being
I'm
parallel
trying to,
and
look,
north, I think
look,
it's
this is
fine.
not an easy position. I'm trying to read the room, I'm trying to,
Like an attorney to review
trying to
everything and come
keep
up with
this
terms
going.
and conditions that, if you're inclined to do it. Again, we started the process early on before English was involved, and VDOT asked for our commentary, and we wanted to limit any kind of contact. If you remember, Town of Victoria had a tar truck open up into falls and those kind of things, and we hope that's not the case. We expect that not be the case. But again, in all honesty, Mr. Higginbotham, the benefit isn't to the town, it's only the resident.
all right, Mr. Page has a question.
Comment about that?
Hold on, I got a member of council who wants to speak.
I apologize. I actually have a few questions, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
The man lift requires for you to check for leaks daily or for drips prior to use. So
Yes.
you're going to do that with the crane as well?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Are you going to add a secondary membrane or barrier system so that the release of any contaminants is prevented?
We
in case
plan
of
on,
a tear?
putting a single membrane under it. I mean, if we had to line it twice, we could do that. I mean,
No,
that's,
VDOT recommended that for the man lift.
Yes,
would you
sir.
do that for the crane as
we
well?
can absolutely do that, yes, sir.
On top of that, are you going to follow on the barge the 25 gallons of fuel
Yes, sir,
rule
that's
as
it,
well?
yes, sir.
Along with the process of filling it and every day and
Yes,
checking
yes,
the amount?
yes, sir, that's part of the rules.
That's my question.
And-
Thank you.
Yes, sir, and, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, dude.
No, you're good. We seem to step on each other.
Your intake is on that bridge, and there is a repair that needs to be done to that bridge. Right now, your water treatment plant is built for that's why you have a water treatment plant. Any kind of contaminants that come through there, and they can come through at any time, from a spill upstream, somewhere upstream, or something like that. But, Mr. Higginbotham, I think, has put aside a lot of safety measures in order to make sure that doesn't happen. You know, obviously, it's still your decision whether you want to do this, but that's your intake. I know that you have a lot of opportunity coming up now with potential expansion of your water system. You have enough capacity right now to operate every other day if you needed to. And there's capacity in your drinking water plant to supply this whole county if you wanted to today. And so, you know, there is a means to work this out. You could probably work it out where if he was doing certain works one day, they could shut off the plant for a day, you know, and you could maybe, you know, work it out and operate it that way so that he can get his job done and you can have your bridge back and hopefully your intake in good shape. And I think that the aeration system that's in the reservoir, that would be the one thing I'd be a little concerned about when you're setting the barge. But beyond that, I don't think it's going to be an issue on your intake.
That's my next question with the aeration system. We just did some good work over there. So.
And absolutely, what we would probably do is put a little buoy that would come up and mark that. But right now, we can bring the barge over and use it without a crane, and it's the same liability. So it's just, I don't know why a crane is so scary, so to say. I mean, we do it all the time. It's just, it's beyond me, but that's what the contract says. I'm just following the rules and asking y'all's consent. And then I gotta go to VDOT and see what they say. But we're absolutely, I mean, we worked on reservoirs before, and we understand clean water, and we've got a very responsible superintendent who has coordinated a lot with your Public Works superintendent, maybe Mr. Harris, is that his, yeah. So, I mean, we've got a good relationship with y'all now, and would like your consent to move forward. And I have no problem having your attorney review this, but I need your consent to move forward with it.
Well, Mr. Almond?
I have one final question.
Yes, absolutely, help yourself.
How much, you said it's to accelerate finishing the project, which inherently opens the road, how much time do you think it'll shave off?
We're thinking 3 to 4 months. And the job's been dragging on. I mean, it's one of these jobs, it doesn't want to stop. It just goes on and on, so,
Well,
yes, sir.
Any other questions from council?
I
Mr.
have one question. If this doesn't happen, are you subject to liquidated damages? Does it
We're
put you
always,
over
we're
time?
always subject to liquidated damages.
But if this doesn't happen, will that put you over your time limit?
Well, I mean,
Because of the steel delays, and I assume they gave you time for that stuff.
well, we're still negotiating a change order with the state, but we've not resolved that yet. I mean, that's,
The liquidated damages, do you know that?
it's specified in the spec book. I offhand don't know. I mean, I'm guessing $1,000 maybe.
But if this didn't happen, does that put you likely into a liquidated damage situation?
Well, I mean, time is money. We all know that. So, and it's going to be safer for the employees. It's going, you don't have to reach as far with your crane. It's just, I don't understand why a crane was restricted anyway. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, that's what the contract says. And
Let me make sure I've got all the questions from council.
yes, sir.
And then I have a statement.
I had one more.
Mr. Gorman, you have
If
the
you don't
floor.
mind, how long have you been doing this kind of work?
English has been in business over 100 years.
You've been 30 to 40 years in it?
I've been at it 40 years. I mean,
Have
we
you
do.
ever had an incident where you blew the water with your work?
No, sir. Not.
Did y'all,
Ms. Nguyen?
did y'all help do any of the work on some of the major highways in other parts of the state? Because I noticed the structure of the bridge in Hickory, and I lived in North Carolina. I saw that when it was going up. Like the 295 bridge, or have you done any other
Well,
work in
we
Virginia?
did the grading on 295. We did not do, now we did do a flyover from 64 on to 295. We did, the same superintendent did that flyover that's out here now.
Okay.
That's a huge bridge.
Okay, yes, sir. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a comment, and I mean this with the utmost respect. But there's 2 points I want to make. Number one, if we do have a catastrophe out there, you're not going to get the phone call. They are, okay? The second thing is we have submitted an RFI for the state to provide water to the other end of the county. We don't think it's a good idea for another county to bring water in here. The consequences of that could be catastrophic. And I don't feel comfortable doing anything that would jeopardize the state's decision on that. And the last reason that I would oppose this, and I'm a businessman too, I appreciate what you're saying, but I'm not accustomed to the town manager being this committed to against something. And I have to. Anything goes wrong, it's going to fall in his lap. So I have to let you know I have grave concerns when he has this much passion about not doing something, the RFI, and the fact that there's no reward for my boss, my 3,500 bosses. There's no reward for them, and they bear all the risk. And so those are my concerns. This is a council decision, but I feel like I ought to weigh in.
I appreciate your thoughts, but again,
I'm trying to be candid with you.
well,
respectful.
I'm trying to be candid. I think
Yes,
the
sir.
risks are minimal. We're out there on a barge anyway,
Right.
and we can put equipment on the barge, the man lift. We can put tools on it. We can put concrete. We can put just about anything we want on the barge, but we're not supposed to put a crane. And VDOT said, please have Town of Blackstone okay it, because it's in the contract not to do it. but ask them if they will okay it, then we'll consider it. I'm not guaranteed that VDOT will approve it, but it's the first step. And I see, I mean, do you want a $2 million pollution policy? We're going to stand behind our work. We've stood behind it for over 100 years.
Well, I lived in Lynchburg for 5-6 years, and your reputation is well known.
Thank you. And
Outstanding company in every way.
it's a family-owned company, and we intend to. I mean, we intend to do the right thing.
You've got these experts here. Do you have anything more to add to the conversation? We have a lengthy agenda, and
No, not really. I don't
Okay.
want to take up any of your time. You know, to me, it's just, you know, getting the bridge repaired. Your intake is part of that bridge.
right.
To get that thing taken care of and have it off the plate, you know, as you're doing this RFI and you got a lot of other things coming up. And I would like to see the town of Blackstone, personally, be the one to feed the water to the rest of this county as opposed to Prince Edward County.
Right.
would
Well, I
absolutely
appreciate that. We do. Members of council, is there any more questions?
Yes,
Page?
are there any other fluids besides gasoline and this biodegradable, hydraulic fluids?
I mean, you've got
that are
the-
in the crane?
just the diesel fuel and the hydraulic,
That's
and
it.
both of those float on the water. And like you said, they're north and parallel to the intake structure. And I mean, Ray is right that the intake structure, you know, we're right up against it. So the sooner we can get out of there, it's going to be better for everybody. And
The other thing is, on the man lift, the same fluids are in that, correct?
yes, sir, diesel and hydraulic fluid, which is that green hydraulic fluid.
And does your company have restrictions on when you will not bring the crane out, like high winds or things like
Yeah,
that?
if it's flood conditions, we're not going to bring it out. If it's high winds, that's right. You would not want to use it during high winds. Tornado winds. Right. It's a lattice boom, so normally it's not affected by the wind.
Any more questions? So, English Construction has asked for a motion for council for what you see on the screen. The proper procedure would be for us to rescind a motion that we've already made. It's a council, it's a recommendation of the manager. We're, to allow our attorney, I think we're gonna vote on tonight, for the attorney to review the documents and the situation. Your choices are to, in my opinion, is to wait for the attorney or rescind or deny. That's the choices.
The attorney reviewing it is going to add value in what way?
Well, this is what the manager's requested.
I think he's offering certain things as far as pollution policies and that sort of thing. I think that any other assurances that the attorney may add to it. It is our water intake, and I think that's keenly important.
Philip, I have no. What I would ask, if you approve this and have it subject to any additional comments or legalese, but the essence is there. But if he wants to, if he thinks he needs, you know, a tweak here or something there, I have no
Sorry,
problem.
I'm not gonna support that, because if we approve it and come back, there's gray area. I think if council sees fit to seek the advice of attorney, then I think that I would recommend that we would have that advice rendered and then move forward. But council can do, it's whatever council's pleasure.
I think he's trying to seek another, avoid another 30-day delay, is that
Yes,
right?
yes, sir.
When's the next time we get together? Are we having a work session?
We,
I think if you look at that budget calendar, I think the work session is after the next council meeting.
It's after,
I don't have anything at this time that would warrant a work session on the first Wednesday. I don't. I'm not saying that I wouldn't call that meeting if this is, it's council's choice. If council wants to come back, we will. Whatever y'all want to do is fine with me. But it is at the time that we need to take action, okay? So I'll entertain any course of action council would like to pursue.
I'd like to make a motion that we do rescind the previous motion and that the motion be that English be allowed to do the work with the crane using green hydraulic fluid, providing that policy as stated for $1 million and with 2 membranes.
If you don't mind, Mr. Gormas, if you don't mind, I think it's gonna be 2 motions. You know, I think you need
Okay, the
to,
rescinding is one.
if you would like to rescind.
Yes, sir.
Then I'll ask for second.
I'm sorry.
Second.
Mr. Nash is second. Any discussion?
What are we rescinding?
There was, I believe, a 4-1 vote? Was it a
Mr. Culver
3-1
has
vote?
something to say here.
3-1, I believe.
3-1 vote?
Only four said that. It was a motion to not
You can't-
allow the crane.
Yes,
You were
it
on the
can.
losing end, you can't
Yes.
make the motion.
Next meeting.
He can't make the motion.
Yes, he can.
Yes, he can, it's the next
Yes,
meeting.
it's the next meeting. Anyone can bring up any topic. After the next meeting.
We had a meeting.
But let's say I'm sitting here, I'm being a hardhead, and I want something to pass. I cannot continue to make motions at that meeting. But I certainly can
The
come
next
back at the
meeting.
following meeting.
The next meeting.
So
Okay.
this is open to any member of council to make the motion. It is a properly made, I'm gonna rule, it's a properly made motion, and it's been properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
I don't have a discussion, but I got a question about this Robert's Rules of Order that
Okay.
you're talking about. Because I always thought that once a motion was done, the winning party could bring it back, but the losing party can't. But we done changed that.
Well, Robert's Rules of Order states specifically.
Well, okay,
that-
I'm gonna check that. No problem. I'll
Okay,
check
I'll
it
be
out.
glad to share it
Yeah,
with you.
I'll check it out. Cause I don't. I thought the losing. If you were on the losing end, you could not bring it back up.
During that meeting. After that meeting, if we came back tomorrow and the loser has the
I'm
right to
fine
bring it in.
if it's gonna,
But that's,
Have a
I have
shadow on the
ruled,
motion
I have
and-
ruled this is a properly
I
made motion.
understand. I respectfully
Call for the
understand.
question.
Okay, is there any other discussion? I'll ask for a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Almond.
Aye.
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 That motion carries 7-0. That motion has been rescinded. The manager has requested to go to an attorney. Is there is there a motion regarding this?
I just feel it's another way just to rack up more bills, in my opinion.
Well, then I need a motion, or you won't have to worry about that. Do I have a motion to refer this to the attorney?
I'm gonna ask that the attorney blesses it, but I'm not gonna ask for it to wait for the attorney for our motion.
The only thing he did agree to do some extra safety things here, and it's not in the agreement, so I would ask that we would approve it based on adding those items to it.
Absolutely.
I have no problem with you making a motion, so there's no motion for this to go. I open the floor for a motion to approve English Construction's, request, and you may word it as you will. Mr. Page, you have the floor.
I'll make the motion that we go ahead and approve this request with the addition of the additional safety
With a
Procedure.
second membrane
second membrane,
and check the fuel,
fuel, no high winds,
right.
Yeah, that's what we discussed, right?
Yes, sir.
I would like,
Per that motion, I mean, using green hydraulics, per that.
Green
Yeah,
hydraulic.
all,
yeah,
1,
that.
2, and 3, plus what Mr. Page said.
Right,
Yes, sir.
would you amend that motion to include an attorney blessing?
with the attorney's blessing. As quickly as possible, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
I don't want this
I don't think
gentleman,
it needs to
And-
come back unless the attorney has something major.
The attorney's gonna address the language to satisfy that,
As long
That
as
would
the
be-
attorney doesn't throw
I would
any
expect
major
to be a part
flags.
of it anyway.
Let me get a proper second. Mr. Page has moved with the caveats that he spoke of augmenting this agreement, this motion. Is there a second?
No, sir.
Mr. Nash seconds. Is there any more discussion?
Still 25 gallons of fuel, no matter what's on the barge.
that's correct.
that's included in.
That's
yeah.
correct, yes, sir.
It's already in there.
I don't think you have to go to the 2 million, it's biodegradable. So,
Any more discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries 7-0. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
thank you.
So our plan is to vote on a town attorney tonight, and as soon as we hire the attorney, we'll expedite this.
Okay.
Right.
Will he be hired tonight?
I hope so. That's up to the council,
Will
but
she
I'm
be hired tonight?
gonna put it before them.
Is she, is she here tonight?
No, and it is a gentleman.
Excuse me. Thank y'all so much.
You're welcome.
And I feel confident you'll be that we'll live up to our reputation.
Thank you.
Mr. Dan Hanratty.
Do we need to eject that
I
somewhere?
forgot to ask about if we can go out and view the project and inspect it. Okay.
Close after work, correct?
Call me too.
Thank you for your patience. Have you been, this your first visit?
First visit here.
And, thank you, member.
I appreciate it. My name is Daniel Hanratty. I'm the new executive director at the Blackstone Chamber of Commerce. And today, in recognition of both the Blackstone Police Department and the Blackstone Fire Department, Volunteer Fire Department, it's my privilege to announce that we are awarding them complimentary membership into the Blackstone Chamber of Commerce. We hope this membership not only symbolizes our gratitude, but also serves as a token of our unwavering support for those who protect and serve. I just wanted to hand it out to just show everybody that we're going to.
All right,
We appreciate everybody's service.
all right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, appreciate it. Come on, Chief.
Thank you, Chief Tomer. Perfect. Tomer, can we all fit in? Yeah, we can fit in. Is that a fat joke, Chief Tomer?
Ham it up.
Wanna hold this here? Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Say what? Don't look like it, do it.
Miss Julie Craig. She's gonna be talking to y'all about a pamphlet that I put on your desk prior to the meeting.
Good evening. I'm Julie Craik. I am the director of the In-Town Art Gallery and Studio in Blackstone and Crew. And tonight I just wanted to get your blessing on the second Saturday Art Walk. We've done it for 2 years now. This is our third year. We're doing it a little bit different each time, trying to change it, bring more people in, get it more, just more attention. And so this time, as you see, we're going to be doing the second Saturday Art Walk from 4 to 7. And so we are actually going to be working in conjunction with some of the restaurants. And we have, at this time, we have 2 restaurants that have committed to be part of the art walk. So it's kind of an elevated art walk is what we're thinking, where people can, say, park in the back parking lot, go into the brew house for a couple drinks, walk along and notice the art and the artisans, and then go on over to the new Dogged State, and then they could go around the corner and go to the gallery. So kind of just a fun little art walk. If we get more restaurants involved, we'll definitely spread that out. And that's our plan for it. We're not looking for approval for the square this year. I'm going to avoid that whole thing. And I don't believe we have the choice of using a banner over Main Street this year. So one request that we do have is if we could still have that banner out on 460. So if that's an option to get that back out on the bulletin board out on 460, that would be wonderful.
It seems like that is the only request we'd have to approve. Is that what y'all heard? Mr. Manager, you wanna weigh in on having the banner out at
It's not been a problem in the past. It's pretty durable, more durable than I expected. I thought it was gonna be posted. It fit nicely under the billboard last year and wasn't in the way of people cutting grass or anything like that. You guys, I don't know if this is in keeping with what y'all had intended with the banner previously.
Members of council, we have a request to hang the banner out on the town right-of-way on 460. Is there a motion?
On 460 under the
Beg your
sign.
pardon?
To the billboard, it attaches to the actual structure of the billboard.
Are you
Is this-
operating under a 501 status, or are you still a?
Let me get a motion in a second, if you don't mind. Mr. Page has moved. Is there a second?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is there a second?
Did you move?
Yes.
I did.
No, I wouldn't lie to you about it.
I didn't hear it.
The microphones are up.
There's
And you're
a motion.
correct.
There's a motion. Do I have a second?
We're not a 501c3,
Question.
if that
I
matters.
gotta get a second, continue discussion. Do we have a second to approve?
Second.
Okay.
I do
Ms.
want to
Wheeler.
make sure you know that we are not a 501c3. So
Okay.
last year we had to run things through the
That was my question.
DBI, but we're not doing that this time.
Anything else?
No.
Any other discussion?
I will note that there is a section in our code, and I could pull it up, that allows members of the public, 6 banner exceptions per year to hang banners on town property. I think this would fall into that category, even though you're not a 501c3. But it is in our banner ordinance.
Did you say you were? You said you weren't. Okay. I got a lot going on up here. Swimming. Okay. Is there any other discussion? Mr. Page has moved. Ms. Nguyen is second to allow this banner to be hung on the town right away, on our sign on 460.
My only question is that we've been discussing the banner policy, and does this transfer along with the banner policy that we're discussing to hang over Main Street currently?
I could not answer that. Could you answer that?
That's the thing, is it, it's not in town, does it count toward that, is it
Yeah.
same rule
That's the
apply?
whole
Nothing
thing.
against Julie, I
Thought about
promise.
that.
I mean,
that's the,
Can you,
That's
can
what I'm
you, add to this or enlighten?
It's hanging over a street.
Personally, I think the council has put a ban on banners, and I think if, to be consistent, I like Julie a whole lot, and Second Saturday is a fabulous organization program, but in keeping with what you guys said, if we're not doing them on town property, you're not doing them on town property. I know that doesn't,
No,
I
that's
understand
why I came, just to make sure.
but if it's council's intention
Have your
to get a
blessing.
review and
we're hiring a
have
lawyer.
that handled.
Thank goodness
Put on
we're
your
also
puppy.
hiring a lawyer.
That lawyer's coming out and shoot strong, huh?
Yeah, we better
right.
put aside a little money in the budget, so. Members of council, you have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor to allow this banner indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Hey,
Nay for everyone except Mr. Page. This, I'm sorry, this motion fails. 1 to
all right.
6.
We're hiring a lawyer tonight. Hopefully we'll be able to get our banner policy straight and have a little more clarity.
Okay,
Right.
all right. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you. Is there any other visitors to come before council? Hearing none, well, yes, sir. He's coming up real soon, I see. Chief Toma, would you be so kind? Next, we'll hear from the fire chief with his report.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Included in my report, the radio system, it's going to be brought forth to the Board of Supervisors this Thursday for discussion. They did have their attorney review the documents, the contract documents, and from my understanding, the attorney is satisfied with the documents. So we're hoping that the county will move forward in agreeing to truthfully sign the contract, and we can move forward with a new radio system that's going to be over $7 million for all of emergency services in Nottaway County. Grant-wise, we did submit to the AFG grant for a diesel exhaust system in efforts to reduce the carcinogens on our turnout gear. The grant was capped at $100,000. If we do get awarded, the obligation is $5,000. We also were just awarded the Walmart Spark Good grant, and that's $1,500 that we're going to be using for retention efforts. And I'm going to be submitting the Virginia Department of Forestry grant by the 31st of this month. That's a 50-50 grant. We generally use fire programs money for that as well. As I said last month, or sent through Zach, Deputy Chief Bears, I was hoping to have a ladder truck sitting out front tonight for display, but it's currently in Roanoke. There was a couple things on the paint that we weren't satisfied with, so their paint and body shop is in Roanoke. So there was issues that we saw in the plant. They didn't get fixed when it was brought to Richmond, so they had to fix it before we're satisfied with the complete job. We're hoping it's going to be here for the 30th to do the Easter egg drop. That's what we're shooting for. I did send my budgetary requests into Nottaway County. On the second page is what Nottaway County gives all emergency services organizations. Currently, we receive the funds directly from Nottaway County, and then we write a check and give it to the town of Blackstone. The equipment, and I always get this backwards, but the county decal, the vehicle fee, goes into our budget to offset our annual budget, and the operations goes into a reserve account, I guess you would say, for the purchase of equipment. My goal is this year I asked for a 6.8% increase on the operations to align that with our debt services for the year. So hopefully the county will give us enough money to facilitate the debt services of our engine and aerial device. My next part is also we lost our dispatch supervisor. Ms. Towns was up there for, I want to say, almost 6 months to a year before she decided to resign as the communications supervisor for the dispatch center. They now have one of their deputies serving in that position. Our next big fundraiser is the golf tournament. I believe it's our 4th annual golf tournament. It's been a great fundraiser for us. We all have a good time. And we hold that at the Country Club. American Red Cross, we're doing a blood drive on the 28th. We haven't had many people sign, or 26th. We haven't had many people sign up yet. So if you're interested in donating, please do. I already discussed the Easter egg drop. And then we have Milton at 24 years of service, Ryan Nash at 21, and Captain Foster and Timothy Imicus with 8 years of service.
I'd like to have a round of applause for these years of service. Thank you, Chief. Pass on our gratitude, please.
And anything for me?
Yes, sir. This $5,000 match, is that money out of your funds, or is that going to be the council going to need to?
For the
$100,000 that the diesel exhaust
it
grant?
would probably ask council for that.
Okay.
That award will be next budget year,
Okay.
if awarded.
Point out that there'll be new equipment funding from the county coming forth. We reconciled the fire truck, and there's still some money left over. But if you go back to the spreadsheet that was up there, the county to give us $63,000 more by budgeted figure for equipment, and that's expected to be delivered in June. So there'll be some more money that you can apply that $5,000.
Correct.
Do we need a motion from council to approve the $5,000?
You already approved the grant
Okay.
application,
All right,
so.
that's what I need to know. Just want,
Yep.
nothing personal.
Nope.
Appreciate your report. Any questions for Chief Toma?
Thank you.
Very much. Members of council, you have before you 2 batches of bills, and the first batch has been paid but needs your approval. And these bills total $2,535,408.85. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Nash moves. Is there a second?
Second.
And Ms. Williams, second. Is there any questions or discussions?
The crew cab truck, where's that? The crew cab truck, $45,000 truck?
Whoa, that was for the street department, and it was paid for straight up out of cash. We had ordered a couple of years ago, probably before most of y'all were on council, and it just came in.
Is that our
And,
scrap metal money?
Scrap metal, when we sold our last garbage trucks, when we sell our bucket trucks, we keep that money aside, and we paid for it cash. And it was probably ordered, without exaggeration, in '22.
I remember the order.
Yeah, it's been a while. But it just came in. We'd actually ordered 2 trucks, and only one was delivered, and Ford, for whatever reason, canceled the order on the second truck. So I don't know why that would be, but they said it was due to the strike, and that they were unable to satisfy it. But didn't let us know, but they canceled the second truck. But we did get one, and it's a crew cab truck that's on the street for us.
And the interior design for the armory?
Well, that's actually Tazewell Construction, who is actually the contractor. And within the interior design is part of Tazewell Construction, but that was actually an invoice that was paid to the contractors working on that.
So that's from the money that was already set aside for that.
Money's always set aside.
Anything else? Any other questions? Ask for a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Allman.
Aye.
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 This motion carries 7-0. The second batch of bills that you have tonight need to be approved and paid. There are in the amount of $162,957.73. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Miller has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Nash is second. Any discussion or questions about these bills?
We have two under the administrators, Philip and Norbeck permit reimbursement. Are you paying for permits out of your pocket and then we?
Well, I didn't have enough petty cash with me. I brought $140 of petty cash with me, and it was not enough. And Dan had the Channels credit card at Lowe's buying.
What was this for?
Building permit for the concession stand.
Gotcha. And then also TST Roofing and Glazing, business license refund, $618. She's not here. I know.
Stepped out, I can get you an answer.
I think that was the one that had gotten ordered for Pickett, and
Maybe.
they
didn't
sent in
need
a
to
check
'cause they
without,
weren't.
they sent in a check without asking, and it was actually for work that they did at Pickett, so we just
Out of
refunded
town.
it.
It might be exempted, correct? But I can confirm it exactly.
Any other questions, council? I ask for a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Allman.
Aye.
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 That motion carries 7-0. Mr. Manager, we have no appropriations this evening.
No, sir.
Committee reports, we have two committee reports tonight. The first is Account and Finance. Chairman Nash or Manager Van Orbeck, would one of you care to report?
Yeah, Philip, I think there wasn't a whole lot of action taken. I think the first thing is procurement policy. You want to go over that?
I think the only reason, in order to slow some of the spending and intentionally to decrease the amount of our bills every month, a couple years ago, this body adopted a policy that items purchased under $5,000 did not require any sort of bidding or proposals. I've asked the committee, and the committee has recommended to drop that figure down to $1,000. I think the $5,000 was ambitious. It made good sense at the time, but I think with our current spending and our current cash position, I think it's wise to slow the spending, and I'm asking council to reduce that figure from $5,000 to $1,000.
You heard the manager's request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr.
Second.
Nash
Second.
moves and Mr. Miller seconds. Is there any questions or discussion?
Yes, I've had a few comments. Our work or our PO processing, how long are we waiting
I sign them every day.
every day?
Yeah. Now, now that we're going to do it, the ladies have been signing them. If I'm not in the office for whatever reason, under $5,000. But as you can see, under $100, they're still going to be able to do that. But I sign POs every day.
I just don't want to put a burden on the police, fire, whatever, if it takes
Well, you also got to.
3 weeks for us to get a PO.
Oh no. If it takes a week, I'd be
Yeah,
shocked.
that's talking about,
Well,
right?
that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah. There's no conceivable reason it would take 3 weeks. There's no potential
What's the
reason.
average time to get one approved? Day or two? I mean,
Day or two. Yeah.
But
Gotta
but
slow
if we
spending
had
down.
if we had an emergency, then you'd take it up right away.
Yeah, it's an emergency, of course.
Chief Tomer, does this kind of make you feel better?
As I said, my concern was $100 is
nothing.
nothing.
The $100 is maybe you misunderstood. The $100 the ladies can sign them for $100.
Under 100.
$100. You need to come in there and get a pair of boots. You can get a pair of boots, but over $100, I've got to sign. So
There's not much on the fire department side that I.
Isn't that the
I
truth?
understand.
Amen. Amen.
but we've got to control our spending, and this is as we get into the budget process. This worked last time, 13 years ago, when we found ourselves in such dire straits. This plus. The looming layoffs, which I'm not recommending. I don't think we're in that position now. But instituting a purchase order policy, I know some departments don't like it, but it really has. It cut our spending over $35,000 a month 13 years ago when we instituted it.
Tomer's email wasn't the fact that the money being spent or not, it's the delay. I just don't want you to have to wait. So I
Never
feel
have.
better. I'm sorry, you may have to go through a few more steps. as long as you can get the POs sooner. That's my big thing. I don't want you to wait for days.
Look at the policy says that he's gonna sign POs on Tuesday.
That's my plan. I can sign them on Tuesday. If you have an emergency, you've got something that's really going on, then we can have the discussion. But I sign them every day now.
So the
And that's
Tuesday
what
date,
why say on Tuesday they're gonna be signed, our current way we function is every day.
Well, I mean, I think he's just covering himself, but, I mean, Chief, if you call the manager, my crystal ball says he's gonna be there for you.
Oh, I agree, but the policy says Tuesday.
The end result, and the spending has gotten to be where we haven't had good accounting, both on the town, both on department sides, and I think that the spending has been a little freewheeling. We've covered, we have the cash, but I'm not altogether sure we're certain on what our totals are.
Chief, where in the policy do you read Tuesdays? I'm looking for it.
I think the intention is, I think he's right, it's in there.
I got a few questions.
I got you, Mr. Page.
But it doesn't say a particular day.
Oh, yeah, that's I just read right over
I
it.
got you.
Yep.
Mr. Page has a question.
When is the audit gonna be back?
They'll be presented to you. We'll have the audit this month, and it'll be presented to you in April.
So when you say we're in a dire cash crunch, we'll be able to see that.
I
in
didn't
the
say
audit.
dire cash crunch. I said our cash positions are not what they used to be. Yeah, we're spending more than we're bringing in on occasion. Yeah. We got big capital projects, and we do a lot, and we
budget.
sell a lot of fuel and all those
Underfunded
kinds of
general
things.
fund,
So,
too.
yeah, I mean,
I
for
know-
3 months we didn't pay our bills until the 10th of the month, the following month, all of them. We paid locals and that sort of thing. This month much better. Last month was much better, but cash flow has been problematic, very much so. And this is an attempt simply to, I can't say bureaucratize the process, but slow the process.
Any more questions for the manager?
I'll feel better as long as I can get assurance from Philip that he's not only gonna sign on Tuesdays.
Well, you can change it to whatever you want them to. Every day, I'll sign them every day. But the intention is to slow the process. It'll be no less than every Tuesday,
I don't want a town vehicle.
or no more than every Tuesday.
Wednesday, can't get a check till Tuesday or approved till Tuesdays.
I need this, guys. You need this. We need to control the spending, which has become a little rampant. So we've got to all work on this.
All right, you've heard the manager's recommendation. I have, Mr. Nash has moved and Mr. Miller has properly second. Is there any more discussion?
I think, I would like to recommend to make everybody feel better and at ease about the Tuesday, put Tuesday or as needed.
As possible.
You have that in there,
Absolutely.
and then
Absolutely.
everybody can relax and breathe a little bit.
Mr. Nash amends, and Mr. Miller, you agree with the second?
I agree with the
This motion has been properly amended. Is there any other discussion?
The only thing I said, I'm fine with this. I just like to see some of the numbers of our cash position. You've been saying it for the last 2 months, and I just haven't seen any
Do a
numbers.
cash. I have it right here if you'd like to look at it.
If you could get it to me, I could study it. It doesn't need to be right now, but where I could study it at home.
Yeah.
We do a cash sheet
But- Yeah.
We ain't even got it in
I
the
keep hearing we're in a
yet.
position, but I haven't seen it,
That'd be a good start for you.
I'm not gonna be able to go through it right now. but
There is
yeah.
a cash sheet that's done every morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna call for the question. It is a policy, so I ask for a roll call vote beginning with Mr. Almond.
Aye.
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 This motion carries 7-0. Next item, wait a minute, I'm sorry, did I get in front of the committee? Is there,
Presented a budget calendar.
You can just give me the data.
I know Jake has a few issues with making a meeting or two. Do you wanna approve them now? I don't know how y'all.
the calendar, I think the calendar in the past has been a tool,
common consent,
kinda to get y'all giving everyone an idea.
But you can pencil on your calendar those dates, but it's pretty fluid. I mean, there may
It
be
is
changes
fluid.
at extra meetings.
If you just let everyone know and y'all work it out amongst yourself. Now, but if you've got, I don't have the calendar in front of me, but if you've got a problem with one of our work sessions, I'll need to know that pretty quickly, okay? All right? Anything else from the committee?
first work session is when?
the committee, spoke of closing the DMV. Is there any,
Actually, I think there was a motion made that, moved forward with it as proposed.
move forward with the signing of the requirements, but I think there, is there any recommendation from, accounting finance